Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back. So, today, got to talk about something that nobody really wants to hear, and that is the fact that we basically all have the tools we need to accomplish what we want already. It's already at our disposal. There's no need to learn more, analyze more, read more books, watch more instructional videos. Basically, everything that you need and have at your disposal, right in front of you, right in your immediate vicinity, is what you need to actually get ahead. So I always like to look at fitness because it's sort of the easiest thing to kind of gauge in terms of, oh, that person has clearly accomplished their goal because it's manifested in a fit aesthetic physique. Whereas the opposite is also obviously true where, somebody is 400 pounds. Well, I can tell that they're going in the opposite direction. They are regressing, obviously, pretty severely. So kind of looking at this from a different lens, let's say you're feeling really anxious, miserable, really worried about the state of the world, as Jaden Smith likes to talk about. Right now, you obviously can't control anything that's going on really outside your immediate locus of control, outside of your own mind, and maybe you can exert some influence on kind of the people around you, your community, or your dog. But as far as government and big business and these sort of massive machines and things going on, they are so far outside of your control. But so many of us, and believe me, I've been here too, love to just zero in on them all the time as a it's really just a distraction and an escape, and it's a weird sort of productivity bait and switch where you think, well, I'm just really, I'm becoming wiser, and I'm really, I've got my finger on the zeitgeist, and I really know exactly what's going on with, big politics and big business, and that just really makes me this essential person. I'm just such an amazing conversationalist now. But the fact is, you're still not happy with the amount of money in your bank account. You're still not happy with what you see in the mirror. You're still not happy with your spouse or lack thereof. You might even just be totally single, but you don't want to be necessarily, et cetera, et cetera. You're not really happy with your immediate surroundings, and you have so much that you need to focus on and change within yourself, and yet you are directing all your attention at something that's completely outside of your control. So getting a little bit more like micro scale here, a little more granular with this. If you're not happy with pretty much any of these major categories in your life, whether it be your finances, your physique, your relationships, or the spiritual side of things too, if you're more open-minded to that sort of thing, you got to disconnect from really the news at large, because if you take an honest account of things, it's not serving you at all. If you're the only like caveat I'll give to this, not that I don't want to backtrack on myself, but I'll give one caveat. If you make some decent money and you're really, focused on trading and investing in stocks, okay, like, sure, check Bloomberg or whatever business, source you want to check out for 10, 20 minutes in the morning and maybe at close. Okay, fine, sure. But you don't need to be knowing about the midterm elections. You don't, I'm in Canada. I don't need to be focusing on the House of Commons debates every single day in our parliament. It's not actually going to serve me in any way. Who the prime minister is, I can have an opinion on, but it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't affect anything unless we have a dictator in charge. Then it's affecting me. But otherwise, like center left, center right, who cares? It doesn't affect anything. Again, taking a step back, if I hate what I see in the mirror, then who the fuck cares what Trump or Carney are doing? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on me, right? So in that vein, if I'm not happy with my health and fitness, well, how about I disconnect from all these things that I can't control and start to redirect my attention to things that I can control, aka my own body, what I put into my body, in my mouth, and what I put and what I decide to do, recreationally and in terms of exercise, or again, lack thereof, right? So taking a little bit of like actionable steps. By the way, I really recommend two books in particular, just in terms of habits, because that's really foundational for success in any of these regards. Short term, yes, but especially long term, is Atomic Habits for one, just to kind of understand like the really pragmatic strategies to actually build habits and then disassemble old habits that aren't serving you anymore. And then Compound Effect is an excellent book that is equally valuable, but it goes hand in hand, and it sort of lays out the future for you in terms of, hey, the more good habits that you can stack, and of course the more bad habits you can remove from your life, no matter how small. Just quick example for me, like a couple weeks ago, I just decided, okay, like I had just read those two books in tandem. I was like, okay, well, what can I do that's small and meaningful, especially with time as it compounds, like compound interest. And I just decided, okay, I'm just not going to hit the snooze button anymore, no matter what. Because rationally thinking, what is that extra 5 minutes of sleep doing for me? It's doing nothing. If you want to actually get specific, it's most likely making the tail end of my sleep worse. It's raising cortisol and it's making me feel like shit. So, whatever. Maybe if I'm going to wake up 5 minutes later anyway, I'll just set my alarm 5 minutes later. Anyway, I haven't hit snooze once in a couple weeks. Genuinely made a big difference. And I'm still having my coffee and whatnot. Like, it's not crazy, but check in with me in 2 years. But point is, I definitely recommend those two books. That'll really change the way you think about things. And just to kind of finish up talking about Compound Effect there, it just sort of lays out what your future can look like and the kind of things that you can achieve through some really good examples. Athleticism is really drawn on a lot, again, because it's just such a great example for how like habits and choices just add up to these really tangible, incredible results. And just dive into those two. I don't want to go too long here, but that's sort of the main idea. If you're, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. So say that you are just, unhappy with your finances. Again, you can watch all the news you want, but you can't control any of these major, political and corporate machinations that are happening. It's just totally out of your sphere of influence, obviously. But what you can focus on is, hey, well, I just watched this Alex Hormozy video and he says I should focus on active income number one, because you can't just save yourself into being rich unless you already have some massive income, which, good for you, and you can just focus on scaling back your expenses. But if you're like most of us, you have a pretty modest income and there's not that much to take away or chip away anymore in terms of your lifestyle, because everything's getting more expensive all the time, as we all know. So what do you focus on? Well, maybe it's time to actually set some career goals. If you're unsatisfied with your job, maybe it's time to just update your resume and fire off 50, 100, 200, 300 applications until you get some bites, and hey, maybe you get a pay raise, working somewhere else, but doing the same job or something different that excites you. Maybe you have a degree that hasn't really worked for you, but if you just get a 1-year certification at your local college or university, you could actually take a step in a really big, really meaningful, impactful direction in your career. And then all of a sudden you're earning more. Switch gears kind of a different way on the saving side. I bet you don't need to have an $800 car payment. If you have some equity in that thing, sell it and buy an old Camry or a RAV4 or something. Like, there are so many small, meaningful choices that you can make to really turn your life around in all these different ways. But again, I'll just kind of leave you with this. Read those two books. If you do the audiobook like I did, I think each one, like Atomic Habits, maybe like 5-6 hours, and then Compound Effect is like 4 or 5 hours. Really quick. If you're like me, you can listen to earbuds or have earbuds in while you're working. That's like a cheat code. You can just blast through audiobooks like super fast. If not, you probably have a commute, biking, driving, whatever it is. Listen to them. Implement them too. Don't just infinitely absorb knowledge. You're just continuing to be a consumer, whereas you want to be actually applying your knowledge and becoming a producer as well, growing, right? I got to make another video on consumption versus production, because that is that has been swirling around my mind for quite some time now, and it's time to take some damn action. Locking in.